Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Is this,
I
let me,
don't know
are
if we're
we?
live yet.
Yes, we're live.
We are live. Oh my God. Well, welcome, guys. It's our very first live post-fight reaction live on StreamYard. Jeandra, this is
This
fun.
is pretty exciting stuff. I mean, oh,
What happened?
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is very cool. I'm excited to be live with you. Every week we get to do new things over at Best Women's Boxing Show, period. Um,
Yep.
if you're here, we're gonna tweet and we're gonna see if we can get some more people to join us. But we are over here on Back Culture because we are still growing our baby, and so
Yes, we
until
are.
our baby gets to 1,000 subs, then we're just over here. So we need some
Yeah.
folks to come watch. Let me send some
But
tweets out because we want some commentary.
absolutely. My God. I wish we weren't going on this late because I don't know if you can hear Brooklyn screaming in the background. Right. I had to like run and close the door because he's like banging on the door.
He
But
said he loved those fights too.
he really did. I mean, he watched it. He got to eat some meatballs and pasta shells for the first time when I was screaming my face off during the Taylor versus Serrano fight, which that has to be a fight of the year contender. I'm telling you, girl. Like, wow. Did I didn't I knew it was going to be an incredible fight, because it was already a historical fight and just styles makes fight. Did I know it was going to be that hellacious? I mean, at one point, round five, my God, I really thought that like Katie Taylor was done. I'm like, is she gonna get knocked out right now? She had no legs. She was standing straight up like a board. But
That was that was some amazing stuff. I mean, I agree with you. She looked out on her feet. Her eyes looked leery, but when you are a true champion like that, you bounce back. And this fight was
yeah,
it exceeded my expectations by far.
it really did. I mean, even just from the very beginning when we were both texting and tweeting to each other, it was just like the energy in there. Like you said, you could feel it from the screen. And I mean, it was like that moment that I cried. I was just getting like, wow, I mean, I cry at like other fights, be like, wow, this is a moment, but this is a moment in women's boxing. It was 140 years. They said it during Madison Square Garden, like for a female fight to ever headline and to sell out. That's like the very first. So, I mean, we saw history in the making. We saw two ladies when they just did their ring walks. It was just, they took it all in, the pride, everything that they've worked so incredibly hard for. We all got to witness it and they put on one hell of a fight, but they need to run that shit back. Okay.
All the way back. Something that really struck me about the fight that I really liked was when they came out, they both just kind of like took it in for a second, and that made me even emotional because they both did it in their own ways, and I was like, oh my god, come on, it was
Yeah,
so beautiful.
it was so cool. It was really cool. And I think when Amanda Serrano walked out, is she just was so happy just to like all the Puerto Ricans and to hear the her anthem being sung. Usually I'm like when the anthems are sung on a big fight, I'm like, hurry it up, hurry it up. But I think this one I was like, you know what? Let's chill, let's hang out. I'm like, I'm just so ready for this fight to happen. But just let's give them respective anthems, let's honor it. And so
Mm-hmm.
it was good shit. It was really, really good stuff. But I see it on the timeline that was Serrano robbed. Katie Taylor wasn't doing much. She was hurt. Blah blah blah. And I get it. And everyone's around, like all over the board. They said the DAZN commentary was very biased. There were times that it was, but then there are times I'm like, you just don't listen to them because you're so involved in the fight. But at the very beginning, Katie, she obviously won the first couple rounds, but in the middle rounds, I don't know because I predicted. I remember I told you it was going to be Katie's majority decision or split decision. I didn't know she was gonna get hurt like that, but you had it Serrano. A lot of people had Serrano winning, and I thought honestly she got robbed. I personally thought she got robbed, but I thought Katie was going. I just had the feeling Katie was going to pull off, but based on the thing, but round by round, people said Katie pulled it off. So I could see that, but I don't like the. What did you think of the judges' scorecards? I thought a little too wide.
Yeah, I thought one of the cards, I can hear my baby. I know one of the cards was, that's why I laughed. One of the cards was definitely too wide, 97-93, I thought was the score. No matter if you thought Taylor or Serrano won, that's crazy.
Yeah.
No, neither of them dominated that many more rounds than the other. Yeah. I was okay with the 96-94. I had it 96-94 just for Serrano. And it was just a close fight, and just the level of respect, the action, the skill. This was it was unbelievable. We're going to go back and talk about the other fights that did them right, leading us up, getting us excited for the main event. All of the top 3 fights that were part of the main broadcast were fantastic. I enjoyed them.
It was funny because we saw, we kicked off the DAZN portion, the main the DAZN televised portion with the new undisputed queen. Finally, Franchon Crews-Dezurn, she was victorious over Elin Sidouros. And you know what? When you said they don't wipe the war, she's wearing her war paint, I didn't even think about it because I didn't see in the corner what was happening. I'm like, oh my God, she looks like Carrie. Like she did. Why? I never.
All gonna laugh at you. That's how it was looking. Yeah. It was looking real pig blood.
And I go, why hasn't the trainer just wiped off her eyes? Like, but good for Franchon. This was the best I've ever seen her. And this is the best way to win the titles, all the titles, and the Ring Magazine title with the best performance of her career.
Absolutely. I thought she was fantastic. I too think this was the best fight of her career because I've enjoyed her fights. I've seen her fights from when Clarissa beat her forward. When Clarissa was making her pro debut, I had never seen Franchon fight. My earring. I had never seen Franchon fight before that. And tonight, she just looked, I thought she was going to punch herself out with all those big, wild, sweeping, looping shots and big, heavy blows, big thudding punches, hard-hitting diva, for real. And I thought she was going to punch herself out, but she kept coming and coming and coming. And I was very impressed with her performance tonight. And Elin Sidouros, she's a warrior too, because she was getting hit with some heaters. and she stayed there and she kept coming working in the paint, and wow.
She really did. And they said, it was crazy that Sidouros didn't use her reach or her height, but it didn't matter because Franchon was smothering her with punches. She was so relentless. There were times that Franchon got caught a couple times, but she just came right back and threw it even more. And but wow, it was such a big statement. Even like towards the very end of the round, like she already knew she was winning. She still kept going. She didn't dance like Shakur did, as we saw in the last fight, who started dancing and already celebrating. But she went from the moment the bell rang to the moment it finished. She finished. She threw every punch, everything in her arsenal. She threw the kitchen sink, the refrigerator, the heater, everything.
I was waiting to see. I was waiting to see if she was going to sing. Remember, if you guys want to go back and you can interview with her, she said she might sing after she won, but I liked what she did even better. She just made me feel so good and inspired to be a woman. She was just, it was just so genuine and so moving to hear her talk about, that moment and being good enough. And I feel like that was just the sentiment for women's boxing in general. We belong. We are good enough. We are capable. And that was beautiful. That was so beautiful and inspiring.
I love the part when they're like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna watch this back? She's like, I'm gonna go and take a shower and wash my ass before I do anything. I was like, that's a first I've heard in a post fight win
Oh,
interview.
I know her on that one because she probably got blood that's not hers. Like he was
Yeah.
just crazy.
But wow, that was such a great fight. And I was even a little bummed that I'm like, well, that should have been the co-main event because it was an undisputed fight. But honestly, Jesse Vargas versus Liam Beefy Smith.
Who
Wow.
knew? Who knew? Whenever who was the matchmaker? Do you know by chance? If anybody who's on, I see there's four of you on. Please say something. Don't just be strangers. Cynthia and I
Hi
love each
guys.
other to death.
Thank
We want to
you.
talk to you guys too. So comment in the comments and tell us your thoughts on the fight tonight. But who in a million years would have thought Jesse Vargas versus Liam Beefy Smith would have been that chaotic, that explosive, that entertaining? Boy, Beefy put the beat
My
on Jesse
God.
Vargas.
My
Wow.
God, he tenderized him. It's funny because even just like the clips of the press conference, he's like, "Oh, you're gonna feel my power," and Liam's like, "Well, you're moving up in weight. Like you don't even know what my power is like." And I'm like, and it's
Mm-hmm.
funny because when I was reading the UK, people from the UK, their tweets are like, Liam starts very slow, and then they're like, "Just wait," and I'm like, "Oh shit, he sure did." And Jesse just looked very, very gassed. He was fighting off against the ropes, but nothing, with no answers. So it was interesting. And then finally, the fight just got waved off because there was no point. And to know, I didn't know no need. When he was the assistant trainer, but like listening to him, it was just, I can't say I think when I always feel like, okay, this sounds weird. So when Nonito's wife trains him, it's different from a fighter training another fighter. I don't know what it is, but I think when Nonito was saying all the stuff, I don't think Jesse was even comprehending anything because he looked so tired. He looked so just defeated. And he's like, and Nonito's like, okay, we're changing the fucking game plan. You need to stop jabbing. You need to do this. And I'm like, I don't think Jesse can even hear that anymore. He's just like, I think he's already checked out in his mind. But
Yeah.
credit to Jesse, credit to, good for him that he was still able to get a great payday. He was able to co-main on one of the most historical cards to ever go down, and it was such a good fight. I was impressed.
It was excellent. I mean, salute to them. Our first undisputed super middleweight championship fight of the night. Congratulations to Franchon Cruz Dezern. She did a great job. It's crazy watching the broadcast and just all the women who were there. All of the women have been on our show recently, except for Clarissa Shields. We
Yeah.
had Franchon, we had Michaela, we had Alicia, we've had Marlene, we've had Tanisa,
Uh-huh.
Michaela, and all of them were either working or at that fight in some capacity. So Clarissa Shields, we're looking for you. If you're watching the show, tweet her and tell her we want her to come on the show. Help us with
And
our
Ebony
campaign.
Bridges.
And Ebony Bridges too.
Yeah.
And it was really satisfying too to see like just the support of each other,
Mm-hmm.
of them, all them actively tweeting about the fight, going out there to be there for the fight. The only thing I heard tonight that I didn't agree with was with, and Amanda, she's so classy. I'm just not that classy like her. When she was like, we don't need to be talking down on each other. Yeah, y'all do. Y'all still got to make these fights.
Right.
Just keep
Right.
it to boxing or whatever. I'm all for the trash talk. Keep talking, ladies, if you want to. But
Yeah.
Amanda's a class
She's
act.
so classy. She's so classy. And what was even better, her corner stayed classy. Jordan, her trainer, stayed classy. There was no shit talking. Um, I think more shit talking came from Jake Paul. I mean, they were all getting booed. But I'm like, you know what? They should. I mean, I get it, but they were the ones. Eddie Hearn and him were able to put this card together. Eddie needed Jake, and Jake needed Eddie to put on this historical card, and I am so happy. But now
Right?
there's no rematch clause, but it has to be. They have to run it back.
There is no bigger fight or bigger payday for either of them right now
Nope.
because Michaela says she wants the winner of that fight, but she's not getting that fight. I feel
No.
sorry for her. This makes a very interesting opportunity, interesting dynamic of what's going to happen with all those women now because they're clearly going to run it back. That's the
Yeah.
biggest fight in women's boxing. A rematch it's even bigger
Yeah.
considering how close it was, especially if they take it back to Ireland if it's possible. Hearn thinks it's possible. Jake Paul said he's with the shit. So hey, they're going to probably run it back there. So then now you've got Alicia Baumgartner now who has said she's fighting Choi. That's the
Yep.
next fight for her. What is Michaela to do? I feel for her because now there's that opportunity is not going to happen, and then she's got to wait for whenever Alicia
Yeah.
and Choi, and so she's kind of
Yeah.
left out in the end.
And just like you said, she has to fight, so she's gonna have to fight somebody, and it's not her fault that she can't get the fights that she wants or the belts that she wants. So she's gonna have to fight someone that will just kind of fit the criteria of a tune-up fight. But Michaela doesn't want tune-up fights. Like she wants to collect belts and be great. I wouldn't want a tune-up fight unless I was in a hellacious match. But I don't know.
You
I
know,
mean, unless Choi gets hurt.
that's true. Or
You never
she
know.
doesn't like to fight outside of her country, out of South Korea.
I don't.
Maybe she takes some step aside money.
I know, and she's been the mandatory. She's had the belt forever, and she's never been the mandatory. So why not now? But unless things change, Eddie wants it. They want all the belts on the line. I don't know, but Choi is under. I think Choi is a matchroom fighter. I think so. Yeah. So
Yeah.
okay. Well, then there you go.
Eddie, Eddie not letting those belts out the house. Maybe we could get if we could dream the impossible dream. If we could get Choi to step aside, no disrespect, Choi.
I know.
No disrespect at all. But if we could get Alicia versus Michaela
Uh-huh.
on the same night as Spence versus Crawford, and they stagger it like they did tonight,
Yeah.
that would be a great one. That would be a fantastic one.
You never
Oh,
know what.
and the other tea of the night, or just during not today specifically, but Clarissa talking about the Savannah Marshall not showing up or whatever they were supposed to announce their fight or whatever. Hmm.
I don't know why. I mean, there's a lot of speculation. So if that fight is in if that man that fight has to happen, all that shit talking. But I get it. There are the powers that be might not allow it to happen. So we're just gonna have to find out. I know that she was there ready to announce the fight, but a lot of people weren't able to attend the fight in New York due to many
Yeah.
circumstances. So hopefully we'll get to see that fight sooner than later. If not, I don't know. I really did like what Clarissa said, that the fight is eventually with Franchon later. And so I was like, okay, I think that's good. I mean, that would be what, the fifth time that they'd be fighting now? You see Brooklyn?
Yeah. Cute. I wanted to see his little face back there. So cute.
There's his face.
So again, thank you for if anyone's up in here. I that one person who's here now is probably my phone because I've got it streaming on my phone too. So if you are here and the numbers are not reflecting it, welcome.
I know. Thank you. Thank you.
Show, period. What did we call him?
Which one?
What we call him tonight? The run,
Oh, the fight rewind.
the fight rewind. So yeah, we'll come up with a
Yeah.
strategy and whatnot. But it'll be easier for us to share with you guys when we're able to do it from our show,
Uh-huh.
YouTube. So you guys have to go if you're watching this show as a playback and it's not live anymore. Please, please, please make sure you are subscribed to the Best Women's Boxing Show, period. And follow us on all of our social media platforms and continue supporting us because
I
we do appreciate
know.
It's
And
really
we know our
cool.
stuff. And we have fun. And we ask questions that a lot of people are too scared to ask because we want to
Exactly.
know.
Watch all these good shows. Oh, hey, three people. Hey, if you're the three
Hi.
people who are watching, say something in the chat so we can follow you back or show you some
I
love.
know. We appreciate it. This
Because
is
it's
our
already
very first of
so.
many.
So we just finished Shakur Stevenson, Oscar Valdes versus Shakur Stevenson. And I glanced, you were talking a moment ago, I glanced down at my phone just to see what people were saying about the fight. We checked out of it before they, like,
And
all the
that's,
way,
yeah.
it was clear that Stevenson was cruising to a victory. But so people were tweeting that Stevenson started running around the ring before they sounded the final bell.
You didn't see that?
No, I was messing around and I had the
Oh, yeah. So
other
at the
website.
very final bell, like the last 10 seconds, Valdez was, obviously try to finish the fight in a strong way. And of course, Shakur was just like running around, like jumping up and then like posing to the crowd. I hate that. I go, you know what? Finish the fight.
Like that.
I'm
I
like,
don't like it.
we get that you schooled him, but just, I, I
It's
don't
still
know.
a sport.
It's still a sport. Because I go, well, God forbid you get clocked in that last second because your guard is down.
That's right. And it's
But yeah,
protect
but
yourself time.
at, Shakur looked amazing though. I mean, I think at the
Wow.
very beginning, like everyone thought he was going to win by points. Didn't even think a knockout. I remember I asked Derek James the other day. I go, "Do you think Shakur can knock out Oscar Valdez?" That's not a thing that people normally think of Shakur, but he apparently had some knockout power because he knocked him down. I mean, it was still a lot of people think it was questionable because when he got knocked, it was by I think a right hook or a left hook, I can't remember, and he was falling forward and the ropes held him up, but he was also throwing a punch. So a lot of people, it was still considered a knockdown. But I didn't expect Shakur to have that much power. I was pretty
Wow.
impressed.
Shakur just looked sharp and quick, and the speed difference was extraordinary
Yeah.
between him and Valdez. I mean, he just boxed beautifully, effective. He looked strong.
Hmm.
He just really, really looked formidable. But this running around the ring thing, it makes me wonder because Shakur's had that image for so long because he's so smiley and his dimples and he's such a like a cutie pie kind of guy. But now, he's talking more mess. He was talking mess to Jamel Herring, and then he's talking mess to Oscar Valdez even during the fight week. Is he going to turn into a heel? Like, is this the beginning of the Joker or the Penguin or something like that?
You
You
never
know?
know. You never know. I mean, I think now after I mean his first win was great, but people say should you be considered to be on the pound for pound list? And they asked him that. He said after this win, yes. And I completely agree because now like not at the top, but somewhere his name needs to be talked about because he, he Oscar Valdez is he's a very good fighter. I mean, how he won against Miguel Burchell, he took his soul, he took his career. Like Burchell doesn't fight the same way
Yeah.
anymore. And the way that Shakur fought against Valdez tonight basically embarrassed him. Like Valdez was so frustrated. I think Valdez won maybe 2 rounds, and that was at the beginning. The rest of the rounds, it was just a clinic. It was just embarrassing. I'm kind of like, and Shakur, all he's doing is his big old smile, and Valdez looks so beat up, and he was just so out of breath. And then you just see Shakur just like in the corner, just chilling and like singing. So I think now people are gonna be really starting to talk more and more about Shakur. Like, oh shit, this guy is legit. I mean, he won the Ring Magazine belt because it's the top two in the division. So I'm curious to see who he's gonna fight next. I know he's gonna be for belts. I don't even know who has the belts in the 130 division. I don't
Uh,
remember
Let me just take a quick little look see
because I was
here.
looking and I was not Galahad. This is it is the 130 right here. Let's see.
Shout
We
out to
have
our friend.
WBO. Jamel lost. Um, I don't know Rashimov.
Oh, they took it down. Fight News used to be real good about
Oh,
keeping their ratings up, but they took it down.
Ogawa. He has the IBF. He's Japanese,
Hmm.
and then who has the? Oh wait, no, they only have two belts. Who has the WBA belt?
Let me
I don't know
see.
who. I don't know who has the WBA belt
Let's
because I'm
see.
looking on the rings rating. I don't know who has
Uh,
the W.
Roger Gutierrez.
Why isn't he on the ring ratings then? That's weird.
It's the, for the ring ratings. It was vacant. If this is the
No, no,
most
no.
current.
It would show like what belt they have on here. So it would
Oh,
be like Shakur has a WBO. Oh. And then but it doesn't say. That's interesting.
yeah, that's very interesting. Roger Gutierrez. I'm not.
Maybe I know him. I can't picture his face because I don't see his thing. But he's doing good, and look at that. They Shakur and Valdez, they sold out. They sold out MGM. I mean, it is cracking over there. I mean, New York was cracking on a different level. Every female in pretty much all the sports were there. All the legends were there. But here,
Mhm.
it's like, I mean, I'm here in Vegas, and I could hear I heard there was a lot of fans on both sides, and there was they came out for this one. So I mean, Mark Davis is sitting there. When Mark Davis comes to the fights, the owner of the Raiders, chilling right there by Bob Arum, you know it's a big fight. So
Yeah, him and Canelo a
oh
week
yeah,
early. Canelo
did you see his
always likes to
his
fight.
pajamas? Huh?
Canelo said he will not be wearing regular clothes to nothing. His pajamas on.
Yeah. I mean, I saw him in there, and I know that Eddie and Canelo were the ones that pushed Valdez to take this fight. And it's you know you got to push yourself to be great. You have to challenge yourself, and so you're not guaranteed to win every fight. And sure, you know Valdez, he went out on his shield. He didn't get knocked out. But I wonder what's going to be next for him because it's not like he's going to move up in weight. Because usually you move up in weight, you're going to have to fight more people in your division.
Hmm.
So I
And
don't
there's
know.
more players hanging around 130, so there's still a lot of tough fights out there for him. If he wants to get right back at it with another tough fight, there's plenty of dance partners who
Hmm.
are willing. Young deity, are there any Amish Mennonite professional fighters? I'm not
Who?
certain.
Amish?
Amish or Mennonite? I
I
see young
have
deity
that. I
have
don't
an
know.
I don't know, sir or ma'am. I have no idea. I don't know. But yeah, it was a
I
great night. What did you think of the fight? Thanks for joining us. Please hit the like button.
What did I think of what the fight?
Our commenter here,
Oh, our
young
comment.
D.
Oh yeah, young
But
Deity.
yeah, but yeah, what do you think of the night? It was. I mean, we had a lot of boxing today. So, what were
It
your
was a
overall?
lot. It was a lot. Like my fingers hurt from tweeting. My eyes, like you know what? I should be wearing my Blu-ray player glasses because I've been on the computer so much that my
Mhm.
eyeballs throbbing. But it was so good. Like I didn't even watch the ESPN fights up until the end of the zone fights. Just I watched the before the bell fights, which was good. Sky Nicholson was on there. Um, Emma Williams was on there, and my God, he put on a show. And that guy was supposed to be his toughest test. I've never seen Amo look that good in the ring. Every punch he threw was so nasty that and it landed at will, and the guy just had no answers. And for the fight to be over, I was really happy for him. But even Sky Nicholson, these women they're just different. These women fighters. She was an Australian Olympian, and the way she fights, it was until the very end where I think it was a right hand. I can't remember, but it was she hurt that girl, but the entire time her jab was so effective. And I'm not a fan of people with their hands down, fighting with their hands down, unless you're fucking Floyd. But she did it really well. And she was able to get through the girl's guard. And I even said it. I tweeted out. I'm like, this girl's face is being eaten by jabs because she couldn't see it all night. So I think, and they're moving Sky Nicholson very, very well. That was, I think, her fourth professional fight, and even better that it's on this card. So that was good to see. But I liked it. I really, really liked it. It was good stuff.
Very, very good. I just
Yeah.
at the crowd, the atmosphere at both of these venues, just the atmosphere for the women's fight. I mean, the men have their big moments, et cetera. So they've got hundreds of years of big moments. But to see how this crowd was just going ape,
Oh,
like I could just feel that energy through the screen. Like it was just so loud and raucous, and just people genuinely. I brought tears. I can't even lie. It got me in my feels a little bit, and it
yeah.
made me a little teary. It was awesome.
It reminded me last of when Anthony Joshua and Ruiz fought at the Garden. It was so loud that they couldn't even hear the bell. Like that one time, the ref didn't even know the bell rang, and the fight was still going. And then they're like banging on the bell, and it was that electric. But it was, just reading the timeline, celebrities, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock was tweeting, just like
Awesome.
everyone congratulating, like this is such a moment in time that who knew that a woman's fight could be this big, and the fact that this particular fight exceeded all of our expectations, the way it went down every round. It wasn't just like they didn't dance. I mean, they were great dance partners, but there was not one moment where there was no action. It was constant action from the beginning to end. And
Yeah.
it was just like, oh my God. At one point I'm like, okay, this could end up in a draw. And I
Yeah.
was gonna bet on it. I'm like, it's minus 1,200. I go, if I just put $100 down, you never know. But Katie just came back out, and they always said, you know what? She's the champ. You got to knock the champ down or knock her out in order to win. And maybe that could have been the deciding factor that, yes, Amanda put a beating on her. But Katie got her legs back. She was able to come back and get her and just do her thing. But
I think that Amanda's going to kick herself when she goes back and watch the fight. It was one of those rounds she kind of really took off. I think it was the seventh round, sixth or seventh
yeah,
round. She was really, really coasting. That could have made the difference right there. At least brought it to a draw. Because you're never going to underestimate Katie Taylor, but it would have at least, leveled it out a little bit. But again, two great warriors. They said kind of, handshake agreement that they will run it back. Maybe it's good that there's no rematch clause because now they can make some big. They made their best paydays. Let's talk about that. The best paydays they've made in their careers, at least Amanda for sure. I'm not sure about Katie's career paydays, but now even more double, triple that because it was such a sensation on social media. Jake Paul's going to do his promotional thing. Eddie's going to do his thing. If it's overseas, it's going to be crazy. It's going to
but
be crazy.
the thing is with these two, so Amanda, will she get another payday like this? Because the opponent has to be Katie Taylor level. There is no
Mm,
Katie Taylor level right now in
that's
any
right.
division. So I, I don't know where Serrano is supposed to go after this. I mean, go back to her weight class, and then because then whoever she's gonna fight, they'd be like, okay, wait, so Amanda's gonna get $1 million, and the fight's not even worth, and I'm not downgrading any female, but it's just that the level of where Katie Taylor with all the belts and then versus someone that maybe has one belt or two belts or zero belts, I don't know how that's gonna happen. And even with Katie, I don't know where she goes. I don't know who's supposed to buy for those belts. And imagine who there was no one. I don't think there's anyone else in the sport that we wanted to see Katie fight except Amanda Serrano. So now we got that. Now what does Katie do? I mean, fight in Ireland against I don't know who.
maybe the best case scenario for this situation is it's a Canelo type of thing. Canelo's got his own business to take care of next week with Bivol, and we know that the Triple G fight is looming. So maybe it's a parallel thing for the women where the best case scenario is something like um, Katie and Amanda fight again. And let's say Amanda wins that time. And then they run it back for a third time. And during that time, maybe the rivalry is getting better and better and better between Michaela and Alicia Baumgartner. Maybe they're having their own fight and they're running it back. And they've got their thing going. And then maybe the winner of that fights because they both expressed interest that they would take that action and they
Uh-huh.
fight that. Or Katie was already the bigger woman in there tonight. Maybe she moves up and she challenges like Jessica McCaskill.
Yeah.
You know, she goes up to 140 and wants to be undisputed at that weight too because she doesn't look like she's having any signs of slowing down or quitting or anything like that. That's a big fish too.
Oh my God. That would be good. I don't know. I mean, we just, like we always said, there's not enough women in the divisions, so they're gonna have to go up and down and wait. So hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see what they'll say. I mean, I'm gonna have to rewatch this fight again and like really pay attention. And while I'm not texting, because that's the one part about like working a fight, because you're busy like or typing and just like you don't want to miss
Yeah.
anything. So I think
What
just
what weight class is Ebony Bridges again?
what um Jamie Mitchell's 115.
Oh yeah, she's
She's too
13.
tall. She's too small. She's too
Mm-hmm.
small. But yeah, so I'm like that was
They
at
would
140. Wait, they
they
went
would
up to 154, right?
yeah. The
Damn.
bigger
Serrano went
the
up.
the bigger the weight, the less opportunities there are,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I remember once I saw a women's heavyweight fight. I'm all for all fights. And just the disrespect people had for those kind of fights. So it's always right now that's gonna be the next level of sexism that women will have to go past in the barrier because now it's going to be like anything bigger than 168, which is what Fran Sean was fighting at tonight for super middleweight. You know, maybe you've got fighters in other countries that are bigger women who are some badasses who are fighting in Brazil and
Yeah.
African and the Samoans,
Yep.
that are boxing. And so maybe that might be the next move to introduce some different weight class because right now all these smaller weights and it's the same thing for the well, it's better for the men now too. The smaller weight classes get busy, they fight more often, the best
Yeah.
fight more often, and yeah, all of them have that problem now. Franchan has that problem being undisputed because there's just not enough competition there, and then
Yeah, that's
the
so
smaller
true.
weight classes where it's at.
Oh man. I think maybe, Amanda might go back into MMA. Why not?
Yeah, it's a
She's made a
possibility.
statement. That's it. She made a statement there and to show how like she's not going to take an MMA fight. I don't know what she gets paid. Let's just say $30,000. I have no idea. She's not going to go back to that and be like, I ain't doing that. Like, but she really does enjoy it. I don't know. I'm really curious to see where she's going to go from here, and what Jake Paul has in store for her. But I'm excited for her because they got the career high paydays, and that's incredible. That's already historical in itself. So, and to know that women like Errol Spence tweeted out, he was like, "I'm low key really excited for this Taylor Serrano fight." People were so
And
excited.
afterwards, he said it was the best fight of the year. I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, even J-Rock is like, I can't believe what my eyes just saw. It's like we always said it. When guys say, or even some women say women's fights are boring, I don't know which fights there are some, but we said it. There are some men fights that are boring too. But how many men fights do you see like this? Like this, what
okay,
we just
few and
witnessed?
far between. Few and far between. Hopefully we'll get that again, that lightning in a bottle with Canelo and Bivol. Who knows? We'll get it for sure with Inoue and Donaire. We know that's
Yeah.
going to be off the chain. But if I was Katie Taylor right now, And even Amanda Serrano, Jake Paul and his brother Logan Paul have already leveraged these relationships with WWE. They should take a victory lap like Tyson Fury
Yeah.
and have the ladies, like, they don't have to wrestle. We don't want them to get hurt. Like, they could just walk out, like Katie could come out once in a while with Becky Lynch. I think they're from the
Yeah.
same. Amanda Serrano. There's a couple of Puerto Rican wrestlers on the roster over there. There's Zelina Vega, or she's Dominican, and then there's I forgot what the guy's name. He for sure, I know for sure, is Puerto Rican. Take a victory lap. Get that money too, women. Get all the money. Get it
Get all of
all.
it while it's there. And you
They
never know,
deserve
like you never know, like maybe Serrano might not want to fight anymore. Like
that.
she'd be like,
That's
you
a
know
great.
what? This is it. This was like the cherry on the top. If we don't do a run it back, if they're like, no, like they could say in the ring, like we could run it back, but I know Eddie Hearn's like, oh no, this was too close. Like this was, he was sweating up in that tuxedo of his.
Ooh, he need to air that tuxedo out because boy, Amanda was taking the fight to her. In those middle rounds, I thought she was gonna knock Katie Taylor out.
I really
Like
thought
she
so
was
too.
out on her feet, and that was amazing. Man, I'm just so proud of both of them. It was just so good. The promotion was great. And
Yeah.
another thing I thought I really enjoyed was love Jake Paul or hate him, when he's talking about Amanda specifically, I just love like the passion, the conviction, the
Yeah.
belief in her. I'm like, okay, you better give us for real promoter, sir. You are really wearing your promoter
Yeah.
hat tonight. No antics, no shenanigans. It was all about Amanda Serrano and
Yeah.
less about him. And I thought that was super good.
And I really like that. I think Jake Paul, I mean, like as crazy as he is, he really put his promoter hat on because he really believed Serrano. I mean, she's already, gonna be, she's a future Hall of Famer in the Women's Hall of Fame for what she's done, 7 division world champion. But he's like, why hasn't this woman fought for like the best, like for belts or even, but looking at her pay, it's like it didn't match. So for him to
Yeah.
put on that hat and to really bring it to the forefront and just like really push it and just be like, you know what, it was all about them. It was about the girls and putting them on a center stage and proving to everyone, to Dana White, to all the promoters out there in any kind of sport, that it can be done. You just have to find the right fighters at the top of their game and just put the right promotion behind it, put some money behind it. If you do that, they will all follow. They sold out Madison Square Garden. So
Yeah.
that's just wow.
I would like to see him. Amanda was formerly with Lou DiBella, who was a
Yeah.
champion of hers. No disrespect to Lou, but he just didn't have that impact on women's boxing like Jake Paul's having already, because Jake already brought that audience. So I was thinking about, he's probably going to want other fighters. Eventually, he found his lane with supporting women's boxing. So I got to thinking, like, who's available out there that he could swoop up and put on a card, because all the other ladies, they're on Matchroom or Golden Boy. But what about maybe like a Heather Hardy, who
Maybe
is
she's
also
exciting.
a fighter as well too.
Yeah, see, I don't see, those are the things. I don't know what they look for, you know. I don't like, I know with like say Top Rank or Golden Boy or those kind of promotions, they'll look at their amateur career, they watch them in the amateurs, they follow their career to see how they're being built. I don't know how Jake Paul finds, like how he found his new the new guy he signed. I forgot his name. But he's a top prospect. So I don't know what, not Jake necessarily, but there's also Nikisa, the one I believe he's the CEO of Most Valuable Promotions, the bald guy. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't, I really don't know the criteria, but it would be interesting. It would be
Yeah,
very interesting. And so Heather Hardy would be great, knowing Serrano knows her very well. I mean, she got knocked out by her, but she's just a beast. She's just like a beast like Serrano. She can take it just like she can give it.
that's right. And
So
she's a New Yorker, and she puts the asses in seats. Hey, why not?
Yeah, she
put her
does. She sells
on
tickets.
a huge fan base.
Yeah. So, um, we might have to wrap it, girl. It's like 10:30 and it's my bedtime with the baby. I'm a mom,
I
guys.
agree.
So,
I'm looking at the timer coming on the 45-minute mark, but yay! So
yeah.
hopefully next week when we do this again,
Yeah.
maybe we'll do it from our own channel. Next week we'll do it from your channel because we'll be
Yeah.
together. Yay, we'll be
Ooh,
together.
yeah.
And so
That'll be
we'll hook
fun. Oh yeah, we'll be together for the Canelo Bwbsp fight week, and we'll get to go live. We got some. Well, we're trying to figure out our interviews for next week. But if you haven't checked out our channel, we've got some great interviews so far, and yeah, we've got some good ones coming up still too. So don't worry if you're like, well, why didn't they interview this person? It's either because we already have and it's still not edited yet, or they are on our hit list. So don't worry, guys. But we appreciate you guys. And usually we would do it right after the fight, but there just happened to be two fights, and so we're both really exhausted, especially me.
exactly.
I've been up very early with the baby. But we thank you. And remember, like, share, subscribe, all of our socials all across the board. I will have it up. And then, and we have a TikTok also. So thank you guys. We appreciate it. I'm Cynthia Conte.
And I'm Jeandra LeBeauf.
Thanks for tuning in to the best women's boxing show, period. Fight Rewind. Bye, guys.